Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Thanks to Wizards, I have access a few days early to the new set, Caverns of Ixalan, and we are going to be playing out a bunch of new decks for the streamer event. These are going to be all standard best of one matches as we play through the streamer event. The intent of this is to try out new cards, so we're not necessarily going to just take the best deck in the format that currently exists, add one card, call it a day. We're going to try out some stuff, see how things go, and the intent is to have fun, but also see if these strategies work. We're going to start off with probably one of the most hyped of them, and that is the Dinosaur tribal deck. There's a few ways to build it. I'm building it more as an aggressively slanted deck, and the intent here is to try to curve out early, smash face, kill. There's certain things like the Chomp, the new like Shock Dino card, that'll probably find its way in. I want to first start with the dinosaurs themselves, see what works, what doesn't, and then from there trim and then add more interaction as we go along. There's also like a version of this deck you can build that ramps up. There's a 4 mana dinosaur that adds 2 green mana, helps you go from 4 mana on turn 4 to 7 mana on turn 5, or even earlier. So if you want to play the Ixalli version, but kind of tired of Ixalli, I want to try out other things. So looking at the deck, we got Mana Dorks in Ixalani's Lorekeeper that adds mana to cast Dino spells. We also have Intrepid Paleontologist. Paleontologist also has the upside that it lets us exile cards from graveyard, and then if we exile our own dinos, we can cast them with a finality counter. Basically, the finality counter is if this creature dies, it gets exiled instead. We have Belligerent Yearling, 2 mana, 3/2, trample. Whenever another dino enters the battlefield under control, you may have the Yearling's base power become equal to that creature's power until end of turn. So you can actually curve turn 2 Yearling into turn 3 Pugnacious Hammerskull, and then attack for 6 damage with the Yearling. The Hammerskull is a 6/6 that doesn't attack or gets a stun counter if you don't control another dinosaur. We have Itzquinth, Firstborn of Gishath, 2 mana, 2/3 haste, that when it enters the battlefield, we can pay 2 mana and then have target damage, deal damage, not fight, deal damage to another target creature, so kind of some removal stapled onto there. Card I want to try out to see how it plays out is Scythe Raptor. If there's like heavy instants or removals, stuff like that, it punishes them. So this is module, so it affects you as well, but whenever a player casts a spell, it's not their turn, Scythe Raptor deals 4 damage to them. Got some copies of Rampaging Raptor, and then we have Bonehoard Dracosaur, Dragon Dinosaur, Flying First Strike, being in your upkeep, exile, top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn, and then if it's a land, you get a 3/1 dinosaur. If it's a non-land, you get treasure token. And then a card that kind of fits the curve is Trumpeting Carnosaur. So early game, if we need it, it's a discard it, and we deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And then if not, we cast it for 6 mana, 7/6 trample, and it enters the battlefield, and it discovers 5, which is kind of like Fixed Cascade, so it'll get us another creature from our deck. Cavern of Souls was reprinted, so it makes our dinosaurs uncounterable. We also have the Restless Ridgeline, which becomes realizing this is getting cut off, but it becomes a 3/4 dinosaur until end of turn that gives another target creature +2 Owen's trample. There's a couple of the battles that actually flip into dinosaurs, so that kind of plays with Rampaging Raptor as well, so something to consider when we're playing these games. But I want to try the more aggressive version first. We can probably throw in the chomps after we get a feel for which of these creatures work out. But let's get into some games, see what's happening. We'll do a bunch of different decks, see what works. I'm excited. As you can tell, I got my Raptors jersey on. We're playing dinos. And we'll do like a whole bunch of different decks over the next couple days. It will be released on YouTube. And then if you're tuning in for like the meta breakdowns, we'll start those up. Usually the set releases on Tuesday, Thursday, or Fridays. Usually the first time I can release one of those new videos. So stay tuned on the channel if you're interested in that type of content. So a couple different options here. Copperline Gorge is okay. We don't really want more lands, but if this is like a Dimir or like Grixis. Okay, so this is probably the Ancient One Fling style deck. So we're just going to set this up as Dinosaur. I think Paleontologist in a grindy game has more utility. So if they want to trade their Blood Tithe, that's fine, I think. And then if they have Obnixilis, then this attacks into the Obnixilis better because of the trample. The Bonehoard will be good in a grindy game, just letting us get a little bit more value. Shrink myself down. Okay, so we see Yearling die. Okay, so they're Grixis Anvil. So it's probably the 4-mana red god that supplements the damage by dealing 4 instead. So we'll go Scythe Raptor here. So lack of trample is a little annoying. We do have a lot of tramplers in this deck, so that will help. So pretty good value here. They can craft it, and then they get the drain. So this is a new ability, craft with creatures. So you have to sacrifice it and a creature. They can also just choose with Onicult to kill it that way there. We're getting some drain in. A little bit of a weak play on turn 4, but I can start exiling my dinosaurs, and then we can cast them next turn. They are missing an additional red, but this Mycosynth Gardens can copy the Onicult Anvil, which provides them some utility that way there. Going over the top with these flyers should help us close the game out pretty quick, though. Enters a battlefield or another target under your control. Up to 1 target creature you control gets +2/0 in haste. Transform if you control 4 or more artifacts. And then becomes a land. Target creature gets +0 in haste. So pretty good value there. Pretty easy kind of ramp and bonus. So the Anvil does come into play tapped. We'll take the 2 damage here. They get the bonus this turn, but we are a little bit susceptible to them going wide here. We'll get the Trampler. I think the Trampler has more utility. Let's go Dinosaur here. Do you have haste? Just trample. So this is a better play. This gets us going faster. Gives us 3/1s, but the 3/1s can't really attack in that well. Let's see what we hit off this. We got another Scythe Raptor. These might be underwhelming in this format. They're better against, like, I think this might be more of a sideboard card, or if the meta is a little bit more controlling. Okay, we have Sir Ginger. Ginger's gonna get pretty big here. Okay, so I think it is Scythe that goes. The reason being I can cast this and like double spell next turn. On top. They can triple attack in if they want. And then sack the one that's getting blocked. So usually against Anvil, like you need to get under them or over top, but we've given them enough time. Bit of a slow start. This card actually did us a number. Okay, so we have another one of these. The question, I think we can survive another turn, so... Try to push through some damage. This having first strike's got a lot of utility. And at this point, if I need to sack the Paleontologist, it's fine. We got big chunkers. It's just that they got a lot of incidental damage. Like they can hold things back, but they keep going wide. This Sir Ginger also could represent some life gain. what do? So you mill 2 cards, draw 2, descend. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 8 or more cards in your graveyard, transform. Whenever you cast permanent spell, up to 1 other target permanent becomes a copy of that spell till end of turn. So it's like a looting that then gives them some utility. They can copy more copies of Anvil. So playing a lot more of these artifact effects. They all kind of provide an initial value and then sack to Onicult, so it provides some utility in that respect. Come on. Catapult. Enters the battlefield, discarding a number of cards. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on it. If there are 3 or more, you transform. Whenever you cast permanent, use a mana by Discover X, where X is that mana's mana. So, nice little utility spell there. So Ginger can't attack necessarily. I mean, they could just keep pushing through damage, kind of sacrificing the Ginger in the attack step. They just need to like nickel dime me at this point. Because they have like 2 pings per turn. I guess this will get bigger now. So yeah, that was kind of a dumb block. I thought it was once per turn. So we should have blocked the other way. Because now I'm not going to get the utility. What do we got? Don't want to 1 drop. Alrighty. So Anvil kind of got us there. That's probably that's an interesting. We have a lot of trample. It's just our start was a little slow and then they had enough to kind of sustain. When you can throw away creatures, like they're creating 2 creatures a turn and then they're kind of progressing. I do think those artifacts provide a nice little utility. Because the one thing with Anvil was you want to play interaction at times, but it doesn't always work out great for you if it's like non-artifact. Sounds pretty good. We can go Ixalli, and then set up turn 3. Opponent goes first, so even if they have some interaction, we're okay. We draw like a 3-drop, fine. Like I'd rather have these in my opener. Notably, these are not dinosaurs. These are druids, same as the paleontologist. On Gorge. So these cannot cast mana for themselves. I can go Boneyard with Uncounterable for next turn. Even if they bounce one of these, I still get to go Raptor here. We're gonna name Dinosaur here. This gets around uncounterable effects. Now they could bounce it if they have some sort of bounce effect. But against the Simic deck, that's likely not going to have much removal. It might just be like Simic Ramp. This is going to start providing a lot of value. This is one of the cards that, like, if you don't answer it immediately, it snowballs really hard. And that's always something in these formats. Okay, so they counter our ability. So red, green, oh, red. I was thinking like how we play this turn. I think taking them off this is fine. And then we just nice sizable chunk. Because then I have Raptor with the pump next turn, which can then provide some more damage. They might have like clone effects, something like that. But this is kind of more, like this is not the fastest. Like we did turn 3, 5/5 first strike trample. Splodunking. So that's 4, 9, yeah, that's just lethal. Alright, so turn 5 lethal with pseudo interaction. The Cavern of Souls really helps in these matchups where playing like a 5-drop into open blue mana sometimes seems a little sketch. But without the fear of counter spells, just kind of shutting it off feels pretty solid. Pub Stomp. Okay, so they're on Gishath Avatar. We are... we go first. Let's give this a shot. It's a little slow. I'd love to draw a 2-drop here. It didn't put my pet on. There's cool like dinosaur pets that they lower in like they do with the Jurassic Park harness. Turn late, but we'll take you. Go Pug next turn. I think we're gonna cut these. These have been pretty bad in this format. So this is the line I was saying where this becomes a 6/6. I think we just take the damage here. Because even if this gets a pump, the first strike here has a lot of utility. If we hit a land, then we go Trumpeting Carnosaur. I'm going to cut this after this game, and we're going to try the Stomp instead. Yeah, Triumphant Chomp. That's the card I was talking about. Ah, double Pug is annoying. A lot of damage coming through. Land. Perfect. Big hit, big hit, big hit. Not great, not the worst. Hopefully they don't have like another Pug or another 6 power. Come on. Opponent's drawing real good with these Pugs. Like triple Pug in your top 10 cards. Yeah, so they're just gonna go there, ping us. This forces me to block. I think we hold back this turn in case they have like a removal spell. I don't think this card's really that good. Like, it's too slow for this type of archetype. Play this out. 'Cause next turn I can then start attacking in. They could have Ixalli. Yeah. I think the Ixalli version, like, it's going to beat us here. But I think it's too slow otherwise. Like, even the Luca's fine. But if we, like, against your average game, if you're ramping into Ixalli, you're doing it slower than the ramp deck that's in Standard. I think you need to get under them. Like, this has been really bad, this Scythe Raptor. And we're going to cut that and put the Stomp in. This game was basically won by the opponent triple hammerheading. Or Pugnacious. There wasn't really a whole lot we could do when they curve like that. But let's cut. Let's go Chomp. So this card is... Okay. Give me my copies. This has been too slow, I think. So the Chomp, like, provides a lot more utility, I think. I think Scythe Raptor is somewhere in the 75, and it could be very reasonable against... Like, if we look at Soldiers, it's pretty much a flash deck. If we look at, like, any of the control style decks, the combination of being able to trump Wandering Emperor damage, anything of that nature, has a lot of value in that respect. Okay, so kill something, and then if we draw a land, we can do the curve, or we could set up in Paleontologist. And looks good. Because, like, I do think this into this, getting the power boost is really strong. They have an effect because they held priority, unless they were just waiting to go to turn. They're on Skrull's Hive. Let's lead with this. They're going to deal a lot of damage to themselves, so let's go Puggy. Vampire Cleric. When it enters the battlefield or dies, you create a bat. Sixia. They'll have a lot of chumpers in this matchup, but I think it's fine. Like, I can go Paleontologist, chomp something. Comes a 3/3 on the turn, activate only if the number of controls is 1 plus the number your graveyard plus 3. Honestly think here we just try to race. Could be Wandering Emperor. Could be Get Lost. Naturally, I cut the Scythe Raptor and now they're on the Emperor. So let's see if they mix up. Because they have to hit the Raptor here. Yeah, so they do. But I have the follow-up with the other Raptor. So I think it's fine. Because if they're not cautious, and if, like, even if I draw, like, Land Raptor, it might get them that way there. They might choose to cash in the Wandering Emperor here. We do just need to be mindful of Toxic, because they can start gaining life. Could just be like black-white tokens. Just think like, oh, it's Mondrak. Yeah, so we're definitely gonna chomp.
I have got new moves to teach you.
So Mondrak needs to die. Question is, they get life blink, but that's not for this turn anyways, so oh, I forgot to cast my dinosaur first. Now it has a stun counter. The sequencing on that was bad. I messed that up. Wasn't thinking. I thought this was like at the end of turn. I should have read the card. So this should have been untapped for next turn. I was kind of priced into that line because otherwise Mondrak just goes really wide and I'm going to have a hard time killing it. And then they have the ability to make it indestructible to soak up a lot of damage. Because like casting this doesn't actually achieve anything. And like just double Belligerent doesn't, like Belligerent and Paleontologist doesn't really do it. So it's a little iffy there.
Back to wandering. You are not much of a roadblock.
They get the lifelink here. We're hitting them for 8, so they're actually alive by 1. I can hit them for 5. So if I hit this, it's just 8. That's provided they don't have another Wandering Emperor. So the question here, I think it's just this. Attack with Belligerent. Yeah, they just have another Wanderer. That gets the exile. Kind of annoying. Because now they're able to just start gaining some life back. Clock seems odd here. Seems like just a throw-in of cards. They can attack in. I do have Raptor, which either soaks up a whole bunch of damage.
Remember your training.
That takes us to 6. Okay, so those are pretty good. So I have the Raptor. I have this to kill one of these. I have Hammerhead. I think we just go Raptor here. Attack in. Would have actually liked to land here. I think we do this. And then it might just be like I'm short some mana, which makes it a bit awkward. But like just playing these out, there's not great damage trades, and then this has the ability to kind of come back. So it's just 4 damage, just clears the board. Then we'll cast this out. No damage dealt this turn. Kind of annoying. They can poke me for a couple points of damage, but depending what we flip here, we got a couple options. So Battle Cry, each other creature gets +1/0. So it does make you get quite a bit of life here. See if they just want to keep pumping through some damage.
I have got new moves to teach you.
I think we're fine with this. Hey. No! Wait, I can cast you? I can cast you. Buggy! I'm just gonna play this because this has more utility, I think. I can pump in for 2... which, like, isn't even worth it this turn. They can exile it, but I think it's fine. Having the trample here is pretty nice. They get that. Because if we hit another one of these, they're legendary anyways. So this will allow us to potentially get the fight. They're up to 11. They can start doubling on the clock, but we just got to push through some damage. So let's see, announcement. So I can go Carnosaur into the Emperor. That kills that. Then go Pug into the face, hold back the Dinosaurs. I could also just attack with the Dinosaurs, play a double Paleontologist, depending what we hit with Bonehoard. So this is just a 3/4. It will give +2 power, so it's 9. Just cashing in there. They could just trade. Hey, those are good cards. Those are good cards. This just deals it to a creature. We're gonna kill you, for starters. Playing a second dragon just gets me a lot more utility as well. Just because this can exile, I want to get it off the battlefield. And then next turn we kind of go alpha attack. I have this as another fight spell, so it gets rid of another blocker. And then the double in the sky, plus like the trample. So Bonehoard has really been doing some work in this game. We definitely lose this if it's not for the Bonehoard. 22 on the clock. We're going to play a clock deck, but I want to do it with the fairy. As long as it's your turn, creature tokens get +0, create a Phyrexian Might. So Gishath could fight this, gets rid of the first strike. Even this attack's not great for them. They gain some life, but they're going to lose like 2 of the 3. They do get first strike, so they actually gain 6 here. It's actually an interesting card. Pretty understated, but in this deck, just having like active. buy some like another turn. Trample is going to be key in this matchup. Draw a card. That goes to 56. Oh, so notably, Boseiju does not let you channel because it has to be discarded from hand. So that's going to go... We'll pay 2 here. Let's get rid of the bats. And then just Smork in. Yeah, this Chomp's really where we want to be, I think. Just giving us like a scalable damage spell. Okay, they go to 56, clock's ticking. The first strike was actually quite relevant in this game just because they gained a lot of life. But like draw 4 cards a turn, get freed value. They take 10, 12 this turn. They soaked up a lot of damage. Okay, gonna leave it like that, just on the off chance they have Sunfall. We win anyways. But if they do, then it gives me some utility to at least get Raptor back from the graveyard and attack for lethal. Which has like, so they have Mondrak here. $126 on the clock. All right, what we get? Lots of lands. See this Ridgeline in action. Ooh, it untaps too. That's kind of cool. All right. Not too shabby. When the dinos did what the dinos did, we did it well. Interesting concepts. I think this final configuration, the Bonehoard did pretty solid. The Chomp was definitely there. I almost think you can... How would I say this? I don't know if this was great. Like, I want maybe some other powerful threat, or... Like, this is our card advantage. It might just be more interaction. That's kind of something. Like, I'd like a Domri raid in this deck, something of that nature. I'm not too sure what else we could kind of... We could go like... just thinking. Even with the battles, just going the Dragon Battle, the Stomp style effect, we could go Tranquil Furlback, which might not be too bad. Like a 5/3 for 4 is not great. I don't think that's where we want to be, nor the ramp. There's the Invasion of Ixalan, which has some utility as well. Gives us another Trampler, which I think is good. That might be better than some of this like lower end, but I like this top end package. This just hits hard. But that's it for the deck. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching.